Before you were even a breath in your mother's womb, I watched the heavy iron chains of lack being forged by those who came before you. But today, my beloved child, I have come with the hammer of my grace to shatter them forever. You have been carrying a weight that was never yours to bear, a ghost of scarcity that has haunted your family dinner table for generations, whispering that there will never be enough, that you must settle for crumbs while the world feasts. I see you standing at the edge of your exhaustion, your hands calloused from trying to build a future on soil that your ancestors believed was cursed. But I am here to tell you that the soil is not cursed. It was only waiting for the touch of its creator to be awakened. Do you feel that tightness in your chest when the bills arrive? That cold shiver of anxiety that wakes you at 3 in the morning, calculating numbers that never seem to add up? I was there in those dark hours, sitting on the edge of your bed, wanting to whisper that I am the God of the overflow, not the God of the minimum. You have inherited a library of fear, a collection of stories about debt, loss, and the constant threat of the floor falling out from under you. But today I am burning those books and giving you a new pen. This is the moment where the cycle of 8492 ends, where the spiritual blueprint of your lineage is redrawn with lines of gold instead of shadows of gray. You have felt so lonely in this struggle, as if you are the only one fighting a war against an invisible enemy that wants to keep you small. But you are not alone. I am the commander of the heavenly hosts, and I have deployed my angels to guard your storehouses and protect your peace. You think of your worth in terms of your bank balance, but I think of your worth in terms of my own blood, and let me tell you, you are priceless beyond measure. The world has told you that you are a victim of your circumstances, a product of your zip code, or a slave to your credit score. But I say you are a citizen of my kingdom, where the currency is faith and the dividends are eternal joy. I am reaching into the deep places of your heart, where the not enough mentality has taken root, and I am pulling it out by the fibers of its soul, replacing it with the firm knowledge that I am your provider, your shepherd, and your king. You will no longer look at the grocery store shelf with a heavy heart, wondering if you can afford the things you need, because I am opening the windows of heaven to pour out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive. This is not a dream, and it is not a hollow promise. It is the fundamental law of my love that, when a child of mine cries out for deliverance from the prison of poverty, I do not just open the door, I take down the walls. I want you to take a deep breath right now, right where you are, and feel the atmosphere of your room changing as my presence begins to displace the air of worry that you have been breathing for far too long. Can you feel the warmth on your skin? That is the fire of my love consuming the rags of your old identity. You are no longer the one who struggles. You are the one who is sustained. You are no longer the one who begs. You are the one who bestows. I am teaching your hands to prosper, and your mind to conceive of possibilities that your father and his father before him could never imagine. The unique ID 8492 of your life is now marked for a total transformation, a divine upgrade that bypasses the logical systems of this world to bring you into a place of rest. You have spent years trying to survive, but I have called you to thrive, to be a river of abundance that flows into the lives of others, proving that my grace is more than sufficient. Your loneliness is also coming to an end, for as the financial walls crumble, the walls you built around your heart will also fall, allowing you to connect with the community and the love I have prepared for you. I see the tears you've shed in secret, the ones you hid from your children so they wouldn't see your fear, and I am telling you that those tears have been seeds planted in my garden, and the harvest is finally here. Do not look back at the years the locusts have eaten, for I am restoring them twofold, and the fruit of this new season will be sweeter than anything you have ever tasted. You are entering a time of miracles where the math doesn't make sense because I am the one doing the multiplication. Trust me with your tomorrow, for I am already there, preparing the path and ensuring that every step you take is on solid ground. Your family will look at you and wonder how the change happened so fast, and you will simply point to me and say that the king has finally come home. Believe this truth. The chains are not just loosened, they are gone. You are free. Walk with me now into the quiet rooms of your mind where you have long kept the tallies of lack, for I am turning over the tables of those inner merchants who have traded your peace for worry. I see the way you used to wake up at the first light, your chest tight with the invisible weight of numbers that never quite added up, and the way you would mentally divide a single loaf to last a week. That phantom rhythm of survival is fading. I am teaching your heart a new cadence, one that does not skip a beat when the mail arrives or when the children ask for something small. I am the God who fills the storehouses of the soul first, so that the storehouses of the earth may follow. Think back to the kitchen table of your youth, the one with the chipped paint where you watched your mother's brow furrow as she pushed the bills aside. That spirit of not enough was a cloak passed down through the generations, woven from threads of trauma and systemic walls, but I have stripped it from your shoulders. You are no longer defined by what you lack. You are defined by whose you are. I am breathing into the very marrow of your bones the realization that you are an heir to a kingdom where the streets are paved with the very things the world hoards. Your identity is undergoing a divine renovation. I am replacing the wallpaper of scarcity with the vast landscapes of my provision. When you look at your hands now, do not see them as empty vessels waiting for crumbs. See them as conduits of a river that never runs dry. I am planting a different kind of memory in your lineage. Your children will not remember the sound of hushed, panicked arguments about interest rates. They will remember the sound of your laughter as you plant a garden you know will yield 100-fold. They will learn from you how to give without looking at the balance, for they will see the radiance on your face and know that the source is infinite. I am going back into the hidden corners of your childhood, to the moments where you felt small because your clothes were worn or your dreams seemed like foolish luxuries for someone in your position. I am healing those bruised places with the oil of my favor. I am telling you that those dreams were not foolish. They were whispers of the destiny I was protecting until the season was right. The season is right now. I am opening doors in high places that your ancestors weren't even allowed to look at from a distance. You will walk through them not with the trembling gait of an intruder, but with the steady step of one who belongs at the table. I am removing the price tag mentality from your relationships, where you felt you had to earn love because you felt you had no worth to offer. You are priceless, and my love is a gift that cannot be bought, only received. Feel the tension leaving your jaw, the muscles in your neck softening as you realize you no longer have to hold the world up on your own. I am the architect, and I have already drawn the blueprints for your expansion. This expansion is not just about the numbers in a bank account, though I care for your needs. It is about the expansion of your capacity to dream without a ceiling. I am shattering the glass roof that kept your prayers low and your expectations lower. Look at the horizon and see that it is wider than it was yesterday. I am bringing people into your life who will not see you for your past struggles, but for the royal authority you now carry. They will see the more in you before you even speak a word. I am refining your speech, too. The words "I can't" and "it's too much for me" are being washed away by the tide of my grace. You will find yourself speaking of possibilities that would have terrified you a year ago. You will find yourself planning for a future that reaches far beyond your own lifespan, building legacies that will shelter those you will never meet. I am the God of the widow's oil and the 5 loaves, and I am currently performing that same miracle in the quietude of your daily life. Watch how the small things stretch. Watch how the unexpected favor arrives just as the need arises. I am training you to live in a state of expectant rest, where you do your work with excellence but leave the outcome to my sovereign hand. The shame that used to follow you like a shadow, whispering that you were somehow broken because you struggled, is being consumed by the light of my truth. You were never broken. You were being forged in a furnace so that when the gold finally emerged, it would be pure and unbreakable. I am calling you out of the shadows of just enough into the brilliant sunlight of more than enough. This is not for your comfort alone, but so that you can be a lighthouse for others still trapped in the fog of generational lack. You will show them the way out not with a map, but with your life. You are the evidence. You are the living testimony that the cycle can be broken in a single generation when I am invited into the story. Do not be afraid of the magnitude of the blessing I am pouring out. Your cup is not meant to stay full, it is meant to run over. Let it spill. Let the overflow touch every person you meet, every community you enter, and every dream you have yet to articulate. I am doing a work in you that is deep and permanent, a foundation that no economic storm can shake. We are just beginning to explore the riches of this new land together, and I want you to take a deep breath and truly taste the air of freedom. It is clean, it is fresh, and it belongs to you. As you exhale that old, stale breath of scarcity, notice how your body begins to unclench. Muscles you didn't even know were tight, a jaw that has been set against the wind for decades. This release is physical because the poverty was physical. It lived in the marrow of your bones and the quickness of your pulse. But look now at your hands. They were once shaped for clutching, for holding on so tightly to the little you had that your knuckles turned white. I am softening those hands today. I am teaching them to open, to rest palms up on your lap, ready to receive and ready to release without the panic of losing. You have lived so long in the winter of the soul, where every resource had to be rationed, where every joy felt like a loan you couldn't afford to repay. That season is over. I am stripping away the internal no that has been your default response to life's invitations. Think of the way you used to walk through a store, eyes fixed on the floor or the price tags, calculating the cost of every small comfort as if it were a betrayal of your survival. I am lifting your gaze. I want you to see the colors, the textures, the sheer variety of what I have created for your enjoyment. It is not a sin to desire beauty, nor is it a virtue to settle for the broken and the discarded. You are moving from the mentality of a scavenger to the heart of an heir. This transition requires a rewiring of your memories. When you look back at the table of your childhood, do not see it as the place of not enough. See it as the soil from which your strength grew, but recognize that you have been transplanted. You are no longer a seedling struggling in the cracks of a sidewalk. You are an oak in a vast meadow with roots that go deep into the hidden springs of my grace. I am healing the phantom pains of those lean years. You know the feeling, the sudden jolt of fear when a bill arrives, the impulse to hide a little extra away just in case the sky falls. I am silencing that just in case. I am replacing it with already provided. Watch how I am changing the conversations in your home. Where there used to be tension around the mention of money, let there now be a calm confidence. You are teaching your children and the child within you that the source is not a job or a government or a luck of the draw. The source is me, and I am infinite. You are beginning to realize that wealth is not a pile of gold to be guarded, but a river meant to flow. When you stop the flow out of fear, the water becomes stagnant. But when you let it move, it stays fresh, clear, and life-giving. I am stretching your capacity to dream. For so long, your dreams were small enough to fit in your pocket, manageable, safe, realistic. But realism is often just a mask for a lack of faith. I am inviting you to dream dreams that are so large they make you laugh, with a mixture of terror and delight. These are the dreams I have placed in you, the ones you buried under the weight of "we can't afford that." You can afford to hope now. You can afford to be generous with your time, your love, and your resources because you are backed by the treasury of heaven. Notice the shift in your sleep. The middle of the night calculations are fading. You are waking up with ideas instead of anxieties. I am giving you the power to get wealth, not so you can build a taller fence, but so you can build a longer table. There are people you haven't met yet who are praying for a miracle, and I am preparing you to be the answer to those prayers. This is the weight of the blessing. It is a responsibility of joy. You are learning to handle much with the same integrity you handled little, but without the heaviness. Feel the lightness in your chest. That is the weight of the yoke of lack being lifted. It was a heavy, wooden thing that bowed your neck and scarred your shoulders. It is gone. In its place, I am giving you a garment of praise. I am dressing you for the palace, not the pit. Even the way you speak is changing. The words "I can't" and "never" and "struggle" are being erased from your vocabulary, replaced by "I am able" and "always" and "grace." We are walking through the rooms of your heart, opening the windows, letting the light bleach out the mold of old fears. Every corner of your life is being touched. Your relationships will no longer be based on mutual need and shared scarcity, but on shared abundance and mutual growth. You are becoming a person who attracts opportunity because you no longer emit the frequency of desperation. You emit the frequency of peace. And peace is the most fertile soil in the universe. Everything grows better in peace. Stay here with me in this moment of realization. Don't rush ahead to the how. Just sit in the is, I am, and because I am, you have. This is the new rhythm of your heart. It is steady. It is sure. It is enough. You are learning that your value is not tied to your productivity or your bank balance, but to your identity as my beloved. And a beloved child does not beg for crumbs. They sit at the Father's right hand. Look at the horizon of your future. It is not a thin line of uncertainty, but a broad expanse of light. Every step you take from here on out is on holy ground, on land that I have already conquered for you. You are simply walking into the inheritance that was always yours, but which you are finally ready to inhabit. Your eyes are becoming accustomed to the brilliance of this new day. It doesn't blind you anymore. It guides you. Recall the way your mother's brow would furrow when the mail arrived, the way the air in the room would thin as she calculated the distance between what was held and what was owed. That constriction was not just a reaction to a bill. It was a liturgy of lack you learned before you could even speak. You inhaled it with the dust of old carpets and the steam of thin soup. But I am unlearning those prayers of fear for you. I am rewriting the very chemistry of your anticipation. Imagine, for a moment, the sensation of waking up without the phantom weight of a debt you didn't even accrue. This is the weight of your lineage, the stories of never enough that were passed down like heavy, moth-eaten coats. I am asking you to take them off. Let them fall to the floor. They do not fit the person you have become in my presence. You used to think that to be humble was to be small, to be hungry, to be overlooked. You mistook deprivation for holiness. But look at the lilies, look at the cedars, look at the stars that I scatter like diamonds across the velvet of the night. Do they look like they are apologizing for their splendor? Do they shrink back, fearing they are taking up too much space? No, they simply exist in the fullness of their design. And your design, my child, is one of overflow. I am moving you from the era of the clenched fist to the season of the open palm. The clenched fist was how your ancestors survived. It was how they held onto the crumbs so the wind wouldn't take them. But you cannot receive a gift with a fist. You must relax the muscles of your soul. You must trust that if you let go of the little you are white-knuckling, I will fill the space with more than you can carry. Do you feel that slight tremor in your chest? That is the old guard of your heart trying to defend the gates against a prosperity it does not recognize. It calls this new peace danger. It calls this abundance a trap. It whispers that the other shoe must eventually drop. But I tell you, there is no other shoe. There is only the continuous walk with me. I want to talk to you about the kitchen table, the one where the arguments used to happen, where the atmosphere was thick with the scent of worry and old coffee. I am sanctifying that table. I am making it a place of laughter that rings out without the hidden cost of tomorrow's sorrow. I am teaching you to eat your bread with joy, not with the hurried pace of one who expects it to be snatched away. Notice how your breath is changing. It is reaching deeper into your lungs, into the places where the ancestral sighs used to live. You are exhaling the what-ifs and inhaling the I am. Think of the dreams you buried because they felt too expensive for someone like you, the art you didn't pursue, the places you didn't go, the generosity you couldn't afford. Those dreams are not dead. They were merely seeds waiting for a season where the frost of poverty had finally broken. I am the sun, and I am warming the soil of those forgotten desires. It is not a sin to want more than just enough. It is not a betrayal of your family to succeed where they struggled. In fact, your healing is their liberation. As you walk out of the prison of lack, you are pulling the iron bars out of the earth for every generation that comes after you. You are the one who breaks the loop. You are the one who changes the family name from struggle to sovereign. Let us walk through the rooms of your mind together. There is a closet there labeled scarcity, where you keep the records of every failure and the receipts of every loss. We are emptying it today. We are replacing those records with the blueprints of a mansion I am building within you. This mansion has high ceilings and wide windows, and the doors are never locked because there is nothing to fear. You are no longer a tenant in your own life, living month to month on the mercy of a cold world. You are the heir. You are the resident of my heart, and my heart is a treasury that never runs dry. I want you to look at your hands. Once, you saw them as tools for grueling labor, as instruments that were never quite fast enough or strong enough to change your destiny. See them now as I see them, as conduits of grace. When you touch a thing now, it is not with the desperation to possess it, but with the power to bless it. You have moved from the economy of grabbing to the economy of giving, and in this kingdom, the more you give, the more you have. This is a divine paradox that the poverty mindset can never comprehend. It will try to pull you back with its cold fingers, reminding you of the lean years, the empty cupboards, the shame of the hand-me-down life. But when those shadows speak, I want you to point to the feast I have prepared. I want you to point to the oil of joy I am pouring over your head until it runs down your garments. You are being reclothed in the fabric of favor. It is a material that does not wear out, a color that does not fade. This is not a temporary reprieve. This is your new permanent address. Stay here. Don't look back at the burning city of not enough. Don't even glance over your shoulder. The salt of your past tears has no power here. There is a specific frequency to the way you talk to yourself when you think I am not listening. It is the voice of the orphan. It says, I have to do this alone, and no one is coming to help. I am quieting that voice with the song of my presence. I am coming to help. I have already arrived. I have been behind the scenes of your life, working in the dark, preparing the gold in the furnace of your trials. You thought you were being consumed, but you were being refined. You thought you were losing everything, but you were being emptied so that you could finally hold what is truly yours. Feel the expansion in your spirit. It feels like a long-held note on a cello, deep and resonant. This is the sound of your foundation settling into the rock. No more shifting sand. No more wondering if the floor will hold. I am the floor, I am the walls, and I am the roof. You are safe to grow. You are safe to shine. You are safe to be wealthy in every way a soul can be wealthy. Look closely at the hands of your lineage. They were hands that knew the ache of the harvest, but rarely the sweetness of the feast. They were hands that learned to clasp tightly around what little they held, fearing that a loose grip would invite the wind to steal it all away. I see the invisible ledgers your grandmothers kept in their hearts, the constant subtraction, the tallying of costs that kept them awake when the moon was high. That spirit of barely making it was passed down to you like a heavy wool coat that never quite fit, but was all you had to keep out the cold. Today, I am unbuttoning that coat. I am sliding it off your shoulders. It served a purpose in the winters of your ancestors, but you are entering a season of perennial spring, and that heavy weight will only hinder your dance. Can you feel the lightness where the burden used to press? You have spent years apologizing for your needs, whispering your prayers as if you were asking for a favor from a stranger instead of an inheritance from a father. You have lived as a guest in a house where you are actually the heir. Stop standing in the foyer, waiting for permission to sit at the table. The seat has been engraved with your name since before the foundations of the world were laid. I am rewriting the very chemistry of your expectations. Where you once looked at a blooming field and saw only the work of weeding, I want you to see the perfume of the lilies. Where you looked at your bank account with a tightening in your throat, I am placing a breath of cool, clear air. That constriction is a lie told by a memory of lack, but I am the memory of abundance. I am the source that does not run dry, and you are plugged into my infinite supply. Think of the ways you have hidden your dreams because they felt too expensive for someone like you. You tucked them away in the bottom drawer of your soul, covered them with the practical things, the bills, the duties, the reasonable goals. I am opening that drawer. I am pulling those dreams into the light. They are not too expensive for me. In fact, they are the very seeds I planted in you so that I could express my glory through your joy. Do not fear the expansion. When you start to feel the old panic, the one that says this is too good to last, or that the other shoe is about to drop, look at my feet. I wear no shoes, for every ground I tread is holy, and I do not drop things, I plant them. There is no second shoe. There is only the continuous unfolding of my goodness. You are learning to trust the flow. Imagine a river that doesn't worry about the ocean running out of room. The river simply gives itself to the current. I am that current. I am teaching you the art of the holy waste, the ability to pour out your love, your time, and your resources without the frantic calculation of how you will be repaid. You will be repaid because I am your paymaster. I am the one who fills the baskets until they overflow, leaving 12 more than you started with. This is the mathematics of the kingdom, where division results in multiplication and giving results in gain. Your nervous system has been wired for survival for so long that peace feels like a threat. You keep scanning the horizon for the next crisis because you don't know who you are without the struggle. Let me introduce you to your true self. You are the one who is beloved. You are the one who is provided for. You are the one who walks in favor as if it were a garment. You no longer have to work for the bread of sorrows, eating it with the bitter herbs of anxiety. I am feeding you the finest of wheat and honey from the rock. Even the rocks, those hard places in your life that seemed barren and cold, will now yield sweetness. I am going into the deep places of your subconscious, into the neural pathways where the word no has been etched in stone. I am taking my finger and tracing a new word over it. Yes. Every promise I have made is yes and amen in your life. Do you see the birds? They do not sow or reap or store in barns, yet I clothe them in colors that would make kings weep with envy. Are you not worth more than 1,000 sparrows? I have numbered the hairs on your head. Do you think I have not also numbered the needs of your heart? The poverty mindset told you that you were a burden to the universe. The truth tells you that you are the delight of the Creator. I am clearing the clutter of the not enoughs from your mind. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough talent, not enough love. These are the ghosts of a dead era. In my presence there is only more than enough. It is a fountain that splashes over the edges. It is a cup that runs over until the saucer is full, and the table is wet, and the floor is soaked with grace. Let it be messy. Let it be extravagant. You have spent so long being careful that you have forgotten how to be carefree. I am calling you back to the heart of a child who knows that the father owns the toy store. You don't have to earn the gift, you only have to receive it. And receiving is a skill you must practice. Every time you accept a compliment without deflective humility, you are practicing. Every time you buy the better fruit because you value the body I gave you, you are practicing. Every time you rest without feeling guilty, you are practicing the posture of the wealthy soul. You are not a project to be fixed, you are a garden to be tended. And I am the gardener who never sleeps. I am pruning the dead branches of I can't and I won't ever. I am grafting in the vibrant shoots of I am and I will. Your lineage ends its history of lack with you. You are the bridge. You are the one who broke the seal. The generations that follow you will read about the years of the locust as a legend, but they will live in the reality of the years of the overflow. They will have a different vocabulary because you were brave enough to learn a new language today. Do not look back at the desert. You are not going that way again. The pillar of fire is moving forward, and it is illuminating a path paved with grace. Walk it with your head held high. You are not a beggar anymore. You are a king, a queen, a child of the Most High, and the treasury of heaven is open for your use. Feel the warmth of this truth sinking into your bones. It is not a temporary high. It is a permanent shift. The tectonic plates of your destiny are moving, and they are settling into a position of absolute stability. The vibration you feel is not an earthquake of destruction, but the humming of the engines of your new life starting up. Listen to the hum. It is the sound of prosperity, not just in your pocket, but in your peace, your health, and your relationships. You are becoming a person who can handle much because you are finally convinced that you deserve much. Not because of your works, but because of my love. This is the release. This is the opening. This is the moment the cage door swings wide and you realize it was never locked from the outside. Step out now into the light that does not fade, and notice how the atmosphere around you has thickened with the weight of my glory. This is not the thin, fragile air of the wilderness. This is the rich, oxygenated breath of the promised land. As you take these first steps beyond the threshold of that unlocked cage, observe the soles of your feet. They are no longer bruised by the jagged rocks of lack. I am smoothing the terrain beneath you, turning the thorns of your history into a carpet of velvet moss. You have lived for so long in the survival mode of your ancestors, those weary souls who taught you that life was a series of subtractions, a constant calculation of what you must do without. I am here to delete those equations from the blackboard of your heart. Look at your hands. For years, they have been clenched tight, a reflexive grip born of the fear that if you let go, what little you had would vanish. I am gently prying those fingers open, not to take from you, but to place within your palms the seeds of a forest you will never have to clear alone. Can you feel the tension leaving your shoulders? That weight you thought was your own character was actually the heavy yoke of a multi-generational debt that has been fully settled in the courts of heaven. The ledgers are white. The ink of your past struggles has turned to invisible vapor. Consider the very rooms you inhabit. I am moving through your home right now, breathing over every corner where the ghost of not enough used to linger. That specific anxiety you feel when the sun begins to set, the one that whispers about tomorrow's bills or next year's security, is being replaced by a deep, resonant chord of I am. I am your tomorrow. I am your security. I am the provider who works while you sleep. I am reconfiguring your nervous system so that you no longer respond to opportunity with suspicion. You used to look at a blessing and wait for the catch, for the hidden fee, or for the moment the other shoe would drop. I am telling you now, there is no other shoe. There is only the continuous, rhythmic beat of my favor. Your eyes are being healed of the cataracts of scarcity. You will begin to see beauty where you once saw utility. You will see colors in the fabric of your life that you were too tired to notice before. Think of the way you used to walk through a store, your eyes darting first to the price tag, your mind performing a frantic dance of can I, or should I. I am inviting you into a space where the question is no longer, is it affordable? But is it aligned? I am teaching you the language of value, which is far more precious than the language of cost. Your children and the children of your spirit are watching. They are seeing the curvature of your spine straighten. They are hearing the change in the timbre of your voice. You are becoming the ancestor who broke the chain, the one whose name will be spoken in the future as the point where the drought finally ended. This is the great irrigation of your lineage. I am redirecting the rivers of abundance that were dammed up by the fears of those who came before you. They did their best with what they knew, but you are being called to know me in a way they never dared. You are being invited to the inner chambers of the king's storehouse, where the gold is not for hoarding, but for the building of dreams that serve the world. Feel the warmth of the hearth in this new mansion of your identity. It is a fire that warms without consuming. It is the light of 1,000 suns reflected in a single drop of morning dew. You are learning to eat at a table where the portions are infinite. Do not rush the meal. Savor the flavor of peace. Notice how the food of my word tastes sweet to your soul, providing a strength that physical bread could never offer. You are not just being fed, you are being fortified. I am knitting your bones together with a new kind of resilience, a soft strength that does not need to be brittle to be firm. When people look at you now, they will see a restfulness that defies the chaos of the world. They will ask you where you found your peace, and you will point not to a bank account or a title, but to the invisible hand that has guided you out of the shadows. We are going deeper into this transition. The old echoes of you are not worthy, are being drowned out by the roar of my approval. It is a roar like a waterfall, washing away the dust of the slums from your skin. You are being clothed in garments of praise that fit you perfectly, tailored to your unique purpose. These garments do not wear out, they grow more radiant with use. I want you to sit in this stillness for a moment and listen to the rhythm of your own heart. It is no longer beating the frantic staccato of a fugitive. It is beating the steady, confident drum of a ruler. You are reclaiming the territory of your mind, inch by inch, thought by thought. Every thought of lack is a squatter that I am now evicting. I am replacing those thoughts with visions of expansion, of gardens that bloom in the winter, of wells that never run dry, and of doors that open before you even have to knock. This is the intimacy of the new covenant. I know what you need before you ask, but I love to hear you ask because it reminds us both of our connection. You are moving from a religion of maybe to a relationship of yes. The yes is written in the stars, and it is written in the marrow of your spirit. We are only at the beginning of this unveiling. There are layers of your potential that have been dormant, hibernating through the long winter of poverty. But the spring is not just coming, it is here, and it is pulsating within you, waiting to burst forth in a riot of color and life. Rest your head on my promise tonight. Let the blankets of my grace cover you. Tomorrow, when you wake, you will find that the world looks different, not because the world changed, but because you have finally begun to see it through my eyes. Wake now and do not reach for the old anxieties like a worn-out cloak. You are used to the weight of worry being the first thing you put on in the morning, a heavy garment tailored by the hands of those who came before you, sewn with the thread of never enough. But today, I have laid out a new robe. It is light, woven from the golden strands of my favor. Feel the air on your skin and notice how the tightness in your chest, that knot you thought was just a part of your anatomy, has begun to loosen. It was never your heart that was small. It was the room you were forced to live in. I am expanding the walls. I am lifting the ceiling until it meets the sky. Think back to the kitchen table of your childhood. Do you remember the hushed voices, the way your parents' brows would furrow when the mail arrived, the silent calculation of which bill could wait another week? That vibration of scarcity was the lullaby that sang you to sleep for years. It taught your nervous system that peace was a luxury and danger was the default. But I am recalibrating your very cells. I am teaching your blood a new rhythm, the pulse of the overflow. You are no longer the one who collects crumbs. You are the one who hosts the feast. Look at your hands. For generations, those hands have been clenched tight, trying to hold onto the little they had, afraid that any opening would mean losing it all. I am asking you to open them now. Not just to receive, but to let go of the grip of fear. When you hold things tightly, you cannot be handed something greater. I am placing the keys to storehouses you did not even know existed into those palms. These are not just storehouses of currency, though I care for your needs. They are storehouses of peace, of creative ideas that will flourish, and of a legacy that will make your name a synonym for blessing. You see, the poverty mindset is a ghost that haunts the halls of your memory, whispering that you are a fraud for even dreaming of more. It tells you that to be spiritual is to be empty, but I am the God of the harvest. I am the one who turned water into wine, not just enough to get by, but the finest vintage in abundance. I am the one who took a few loaves and fed thousands until they were satisfied and there were baskets left over. That leftover grace is your new inheritance. It is the more than enough that allows you to be a river instead of a stagnant pond. A pond worries about evaporation. A river knows its source is the mountain and its destination is the vast sea. You are becoming a river. Today, when you walk into your workplace or look at your bank balance or speak to your children, do not speak from the place of what is missing. Speak from the place of what is coming. When you see a need, do not shrink back in the fear that you have nothing to give. Instead, reach into the invisible pocket of my providence. You will find that the more you give from a heart of abundance, the more the well fills. It is a divine paradox that the logic of the world cannot grasp. They calculate, you celebrate. They hoard, you sow. And as you sow, the very soil of your life changes composition. The rocks of bitterness and the thorns of envy are being removed, replaced by a rich, dark earth that can sustain the tallest trees. Your children will walk in the shade of the trees you plant today. They will never know the parched thirst of the scarcity you endured. They will grow up thinking that enough is the floor, not the ceiling. This is how we break the cycle. We do not just fix the old system, we build a new kingdom. I am watching you as you navigate this transition. I see the moments when the old fear tries to crawl back in, especially when a sudden expense arises or a door seems to close. In those moments, I want you to laugh. Not a laugh of bitterness, but a laugh of recognition. Say to that fear, "You have no authority here. My Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and He has already invited me to the table." I am teaching you the language of the yes and the amen. Every time you choose to believe in my goodness over your circumstances, you are hammering a stake into the ground of a new territory. You are claiming this land for your lineage. You are the pioneer who crossed the desert of not quite to reach the land of plenty. Do not be afraid of the beauty. You have been conditioned to think that beauty is for others, that fine things are for those born under a different star. But I made the stars and I made you, and I say that you belong in the light. Where the joy? It fits you better than the sorrow ever did. Let the emotional echoes of the past fade into the background noise of a world you no longer inhabit. You are a citizen of the light now, and in this country, the currency is faith and the interest rate is infinite. Rest in this truth. Let it seep into your bones. We are building something that will last for generations to come. I am not just giving you a fish. I am giving you the ocean, and I am teaching you how to sail. This is the day of your great crossing. Do not look back at the shoreline of lack. It is receding, becoming a tiny dot on the horizon. Ahead of you is a horizon that never ends, and I am the wind in your sails. There are layers of your heart we haven't even opened yet, rooms filled with talents you suppressed because you were too busy surviving to create. We are going to open them all. We are going to let the dust out and the light in. You are going to discover that you are a poet, a builder, a healer, a dreamer. You are going to discover that you have enough energy to change the world because you are no longer using it all just to stay afloat. Feel the strength returning to your limbs. This is the vigor of the spirit. This is the endurance of the one who knows they are backed by the resources of heaven. You can afford to be generous with your time, your love, and your resources because you know the supply is inexhaustible. You are no longer a victim of the economy of men. You are a participant in the economy of grace. And in this economy, the more you give, the more you have. It is the divine math of the kingdom. Stay in this space of realization. Let it wash over you like a warm tide. There is no rush. We have all of eternity to explore this richness. But for today, just walk as a person who knows they are wealthy beyond measure, not because of what is in their pocket, but because of who is in their heart. As you step forward, notice how the air itself feels different. It no longer carries the scent of stale worry or the metallic tang of adrenaline that once fueled your every waking hour. I want you to look back for a moment, not with regret, but with a holy compassion, at the long line of those who came before you. I see them standing in the dusty fields of not enough, their hands calloused and their spirits weathered by the relentless wind of scarcity. They were good people, brave people, who learned to survive on crumbs and call it a feast because they knew no other table. But today, I am untying the invisible cord that tethered your heart to their lack. You are not betraying them by being whole. You are the fulfillment of the prayers they whispered while they labored. You are the blooming of the seeds they planted in the dark. Can you feel the phantom hunger leaving your gut? That gnawing sensation that there will never be enough time, enough money, or enough love, it is dissolving in the warmth of my presence. I am showing you a new way to breathe. Think of the way you used to walk into a room, scanning for the exits, calculating the cost of every smile, wondering if you belonged. Now, imagine walking into the very center of the hall, not because you own the building, but because you know the architect. This is the confidence of an heir. You are beginning to realize that the rainy day you were always saving for has been replaced by a perennial spring. When you look at your bank account, your pantry, or your calendar, I want you to see the watermark of the divine on every entry. There is a sacred surplus growing in the hidden corners of your life. It starts as a quiet peace when you wake up, a lack of urgency that allows you to actually taste your morning tea. You are noticing the texture of the sunlight on the floorboards, the intricate design of a leaf, the depth of a friend's eyes. These are the riches that the poverty mindset blinded you to. As your internal landscape shifts, your external reality will begin to mirror this newfound spaciousness. You will find yourself making decisions not out of fear of loss, but out of an excitement for growth. You will say no to things that drain you because you finally believe you are worthy of rest, and you will say yes to opportunities that once seemed too big for someone like you. Watch how the people around you react to this shift. Your children will breathe more easily because they no longer have to carry the unspoken weight of your financial anxiety. Your friends will be nourished by your presence because you are no longer distracted by the mental ledger of survival. You are becoming a wellspring in a parched land. I am teaching you how to receive. This is often harder for the survivor than it is to give. You are used to being the one who scrapes by, the one who manages, the one who fixes. But now, I want you to open your hands and let the blessings land. Whether it is a compliment, a gift, or a sudden breakthrough, do not deflect it. Do not say, "I don't deserve this." Instead, say, "Thank you," and let it sink into your bones. Every time you accept a blessing, you are strengthening the bridge between heaven and earth. You are proving that the old laws of lack have no power over you. Consider the birds of the air, as I once told the seekers on the hillside. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, yet I feed them. Are you not much more valuable than they? I am weaving this truth into the very fabric of your identity. You are moving from a theology of barely making it to a lived reality of more than enough. This isn't just about gold or silver. It is about the richness of soul that allows you to sleep through a storm and wake up with a song. We are just beginning to explore the depths of this treasury. There are rooms in your heart you haven't even unlocked yet, filled with talents you suppressed because you thought they wouldn't pay the bills. I am calling those talents forth. I am calling the poet out of the accountant, the gardener out of the laborer, the visionary out of the clerk. You have permission to be beautiful. You have permission to be extravagant with your kindness. You have permission to live a life that looks like a masterpiece instead of a balance sheet. The walls of the fortress of not enough are crumbling, and in their place I am building a garden with gates that never need to be locked. Walk through the rows of grace. Smell the fragrance of mercy. This is your home now. This is where you belong. You are no longer defined by what you lacked, but by the infinite resource of my love that surrounds you. Let this sink in until it reaches the marrow of your bones. You are safe. You are provided for. You are deeply, irrevocably wealthy in the things that matter most. And from this place of abundance, you will begin to change everything you touch. Watch your hands as you reach for the things you need. Do you feel that subtle, ancient tremor? It is the ghost of your lineage, the phantom of a mother who counted pennies like beads on a rosary of worry, the shadow of a father who measured his worth by the grit under his fingernails and the emptiness of his pockets. They lived in the season of not yet, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always bracing for the drought. But I am the rain, and I am telling you that the drought has ended. I am reaching into the hidden corners of your nervous system, into those places where you still instinctively crouch as if a blow is coming. I am smoothing the jagged edges of your survival instinct. You have lived so long in the trenches of making do that you have forgotten how to stand tall in the sunlight of more than enough. Let us begin the work of unlearning. Every time you hesitate to buy the fruit that looks ripe, every time you feel a pang of guilt for resting when your body is weary, every time you apologize for taking up space in a world that needs your presence, that is the old fortress calling you back. But those walls are dust. Look at your feet. They are standing on holy ground, and this ground is fertile beyond your wildest imagination. I am teaching you a new vocabulary. Instead of, "How will I afford this?" I want you to ask, "How will this expand my kingdom through me?" Instead of, "What if I lose it?" I want you to breathe into, "What if I am given even more?" This is not a shallow prosperity of paper and coin, though I hold the silver and gold in my hands. This is a prosperity of the soul that radiates outward. I am healing the poverty of your imagination. You have been looking through a keyhole when I have thrown open the double doors of the cathedral. Look at the horizon of your life. Do you see the colors I am painting there? They are colors you couldn't afford to see before, the deep violets of peace, the vibrant golds of purpose, the soft teals of restorative rest. I am inviting you to be the one who breaks the seal on the jar of expensive oil. I am inviting you to be the one who sets the extra plate at the table, not because you have a surplus in the bank, but because you have a surplus in me. Your lineage of lack ends with your surrender to my abundance. Think of the specific anxieties that haunt your midnight hours, the fear of the broken appliance, the dread of the unexpected bill, the shame of the low balance alert. I am placing my hand over those digital numbers, over those paper receipts, and I am breathing my sovereignty into them. You are a child of the king, yet you have been living like a beggar at the palace gates, afraid to ask for a crust of bread when the banquet table is already set with your name on the place card. I am rewriting the script of your family tree. Where there was a root of bitterness over what was stolen, I am grafting in a branch of generosity. Where there was a trunk of exhaustion, I am sap and strength. You will no longer look at the world through the lens of what is missing. You will begin to see what is possible. This shift will feel strange at first, like wearing a garment that is too fine for your skin. You will want to take it off and put on the old, tattered rags of worry because they are familiar. Do not do it. Stay in the light. Wear the robe of my favor. Let it drape over your shoulders until it feels natural. I am calling you to a stewardship of joy. This means you must treat your happiness as a sacred resource. You must treat your peace as a non-negotiable treasure. When the old voices whisper that you are being selfish or that you are forgetting where you came from, you tell them that you have finally remembered where you came from. You came from the heart of the Creator, where there is no lack, no shadow, and no limit. We are building a new memory now. A memory of the time you realized you didn't have to white-knuckle your way through life. A memory of the day the heaviness in your chest dissolved into a river of quiet confidence. I'm making you a pioneer of plenty. You will show your children, and your children's children, that the universe is not a closed system of scarcity, but an ever-expanding garden of grace. You will be the one who smiles at the supermarket, because you know that I am the one who fills the basket. You will be the one who gives extravagantly to a stranger because you know my storehouse is never empty. This is the weight of glory I am asking you to carry, and it is a light burden. It is the weight of wings, not chains. Feel the lift. Feel the rising tide of my affection for you. It is personal. It is specific. It is looking at the very thing you feared would break you and saying, "My God is larger than this." Stay in this place of unfolding. Let the petals of your heart open wide. There is so much more I want to show you, so many rooms in this mansion of mercy we have yet to explore. You are just beginning to see how wealthy you truly are.